Hi everybody, hi every spirit, welcome very much to my YouTube channel. Esoteric Cloud Surfer here, ready to take a ride in Esoteric Cloud, which is a lighter, less dense and also vibing on a higher frequency and vibration vehicle to reach higher, wider and wiser realms of reality so you can have wider and wiser perceptions about yourself and your own circumstances. I wish you the best thoughts, ideas, feelings and emotions, a whole bunch of individuality, creativity and responsibility as well. Today we're going to ride that cloud into the astrology space, so we're going to talk a little bit about astrology and the meaning of it. So today we're going to talk about Venus. Venus in general, not in a specific sign, not in a specific house, just the planet, the energy, the influence itself. So drop a like, drop a comment in the description down below what you think about Venus, where do you have your Venus, and check the LinkTrees of my authority and my beautiful partner Linktree as well to check more content in the description down below. So Venus in astrology, right? Venus is associated with love, relatability, enjoyment and commitment. And not to be confused with emotions and feelings, because Venus can also be associated with love. And many people confuse love with feelings and emotions. Many people confuse or they are starting to associate, oh, but love comes from the moon. That's not right, because the moon is your emotions and feelings. But love is not just that. Love is you committing, agreeing, doing a type of investment in somebody else with your emotions and feelings, you know? So it's not literally your emotions and feelings. Love and relationships is more than that. And that's why perhaps many people have flunked out relationships, but that's not for today's video, okay? So, not to be confused with emotions and feelings, the energy of Venus, but it also includes, to some degree, sexual attraction and activity, okay? To some degree, because then that's more associated with Mars or Mercury if you are an Aquarius, goddamn air sign, okay? Sapiosexual, okay? Venus rules Libra and rules Taurus, and it's exalted in Pisces. Libra, it's the masculine, aka external, daytime, what you and others can see more of, Venus. And Taurus, it's the feminine, aka dark, aka receiving, aka nighttime side of Venus, which is the things dealing with Venus, dealing with love, relatability, enjoyment, commitment, dealing with that you like to keep close to you, keep away from others' eyes and ears, and it's something that you really share with people that are really valuable to you. Okay? So the influence of Venus, it's all about communication, values, sophistication, pleasure, physical and mental, and it can be kind of vague, superficial and fake when there is a lack of powerful intent behind the relationship, behind the attraction, behind the pleasure. By being exalted in Pisces, it means that it's very easy to get lost in the energy and the desires of Venus, or when you are doing Venus, because Venus, Mars and Saturn, yes, they are planets, but they are also something that we do, okay? Or some ways to think, some ways to feel. It's not just a planet on its own, all right? Not just, it's also, right? So by being exalted in Pisces, that means it's very easy to get lost in this energy and desires by communicating, relating and sharing dreams, values and pleasure with others, okay? Because by being exalted, it means that you can do too much or you don't see enough of the situation and you might get lost, you might get used, you might get your energy dried up, all right? So, continuing exploring here Venus, by Libra being its external side, aka what others can see or what you want to show more of Venus, that means that this influence naturally compel us to express and communicate in new ways, because Libra is cardinal air, right? So this energy compels us to express and communicate in new ways our values, our likes, our dislikes, our visual appeal, how we think about somebody else's visual appeal, right? Also, it compels us to think or to communicate and express our opinions about others in our surroundings and opinions about the direction of society, its culture, and development as in terms of intelligence, being well spoke, and avoiding war, conflict, or aggression. And it's very important because there is certain people that really use that to try and control other people, okay? Which is keeping people away from power, action, aggressiveness, rebellion. Venus can be used for that, okay? And you can use that for yourself. If you think you're a bit too much aggressive, you have to see where is your Venus, where is your Mars, and try to find a balance point. If you can do it by yourself, ask a reading for me, get a service from me, and we'll get that clarified. So, by Taurus being its internal side, we are naturally compelled to receive, and it's very important, receive, maintain as well, and hide, or in other words, keep private, because some hiding is like you are actively hiding it. Keeping it private is just like you don't mention it. You're not walking others around that thing so they don't see it. It's just like you keep it private. Hiding it's like moving it around so others can't see it, so it can be both that way. So we are naturally compelled to receive, maintain, and hide our deep desires, deep pleasures, deep senses of aesthetics and commitment based on, and this is very important, based on your fixed way to value yourself, your fixed way to value your gifts and talents, and your fixed way to value your circumstances and your own way to act about that circumstance and the world in general. Because Taurus is fixed earth. So it means that you are looking or you are naturally doing it in a fixed way to maintain or receive stability, safety, security, privacy, and profit in your life. Okay? So Venus is all about that, expressing values, expressing your likes, but those really deep values, those like that make you feel worried if you don't have it, make you feel unsure, make you feel unsafe if others are trying to attack it or saying it's ugly. Those you like to keep private and only share with really important people, places, and things. Okay? Another key word or another key concept about Venus is relationships. We can't escape from talking about relationships when you talk about Venus, but many people, including some astrologers, they limit the concept of Venus to romantic relationships. And that's not entirely true, because it can be, and it is, business relationships. It can be friendships. It can be family relationships. It can be teacher and student relationships. You know? So it's not just romantic relationships. And many people then fail to understand the dry, logical side of Venus because they think it's about love, it's about the emotions, it's about the relationships. Yes, that's true, but relationships have very little to do with feelings and emotions, only the real ones. You know, when you go do some business, sometimes there is no space for feelings and emotions. So Venus is not about feelings and emotions. Many people think that Venus is a feminine side or a feminine influence, but it's not. It's a masculine influence because it rules Libra, an air sign, the external side of our external side, the masculine side of our masculine side, the yang of the yang, and then it rules Taurus, the internal side of the external side, the feminine side of your masculine side, the yin side of your yang side. So it's all about being external, being masculine, you know? Just with Taurus, you are not as much expressive. You are not as much sharing. But you want, that's your goal, but in a more deep, fixed, sophisticated, and calculated way. That's the main difference between Libra and Taurus. And actually, they misunderstand each other. Those signs misunderstand each other because they are doing exactly the same thing, but Libra is more open, less calculative, more flexible. Taurus is more closed, more calculative, and always looking for profit, are always looking for stability, while Libras might not even care about stability. They just want some action, right? So keywords for Venus: love, and like I said, does not equal feelings and emotions, okay? Love, language, even the fact that we created a language. Why do we create languages? To relate with others, to share values, ideas, and things from the surroundings. So, not basically, but majorly, it was the influence of Venus and Mercury that allowed us to be like, hey, we can create something to communicate with each other on a more realistic, faster, simpler terms. Because this is not the only way that we can communicate with each other, alright? But keywords for Venus: love, language, communication, values, and commitment. Okay, let's go a bit deeper. Venus rules the 2nd and the 7th house, which are the spaces where the Taurus and Libra constellation were born out of. And I don't have the video done yet, but it will be right here when it's done. Check my video about the houses. Venus is exalted in the 12th house, which is when or where the constellation called Pisces was born out of. So just to be clear, even if you don't have Pisces in your 12th house, but your Venus or the Venus in the sky is in your 12th house, it's still exalted in that area of your life. And if you don't have Venus in the 2nd or the 7th house, they are somewhere else in your chart, it still carries the energies of those houses into the other areas of your life. And I like to say that Venus likes to be or feels at home, aka relaxed, comfortable, and safe in the 2nd and 7th house. So imagine you have Gemini in your 2nd house and Venus is there. Even if Venus doesn't like Gemini, it likes, quote unquote, it likes the 2nd house, so it balances things a little bit, you know? And I also like to say that it goes crazy in the 12th house, because it's true, you can love your enemies, you can love the things that destroy you, you can love your oppressor, you can love the toxic people in your life if you have Venus in the 12th house. Also in the 7th, also in the 8th house, but that's for another video. And Venus does not like to be in the 1st house and 6th house, and in some cases and with some signs, it does not like to be in the 8th house. But with certain signs, it really likes to be in the 8th house. It depends, because Venus, it has a closed off part, Taurus, and 8th house is all about being closed off, being private, but also it's very, very open. So if you have a sign in your 8th house that already brings some openness and Venus is there, it's good for you. And Venus likes the influences of Taurus, Libras, Pisces, Leo, Cancer, and Scorpio. And Venus doesn't really like the energies or the influences of Aries, Virgos, Capricorns. It also depends, because if you have a moon in the earth sign, you might feel comfortable with people that have Venus in earth or Capricorn, but if you don't, you might feel they are too dry, too directive, too bossy in the relationship. And Venus also don't really like, it's not like it doesn't like, it's more like it can hurt you more than being beneficial, which is Gemini, because it's too scattered, too light, and too superficial, and Venus is already a little bit like that by default. So, positive influences that Venus can have in your life and in your awareness: easily connecting with others, making business and romantic partnerships easier, rapid to trust and to be trusted by others at the first glance and on the starting stages of a relationship, easy talking in public and in or about your relationships, and knowing what you like and knowing what you dislike. Negative influences of Venus: easily connecting with others, making business and romantic partnerships easier and faster, rapid to trust and to be trusted by others. And you might notice, also, those are positive signs as well. They are negative as well, because by you connecting too easy and too fast with somebody else, you don't know their whole story, you don't know their whole intention, and they might rob you blind. By making those business connections too fast, you might not read the whole contract, you might not be aware of the whole situation, and then you have to uphold some responsibilities you are not even aware of. Okay? And when you are too rapid to entrust others, you just might get taken advantage of. Or you might be taking advantage of others because they wanted a deeper side of you, but you were too fast and light. And you might not even have that intention. You know, it might just be the alignment between you and that other end of the partnership of the contract, right? Then more negative sides of Venus, rejecting opportunities and situations because they don't look like how you want the situation to look like, or that person doesn't look like they have a lot of money, that person doesn't look like they can put me in a certain position, and they can. Being too gullible or passive, it's another negative side. Being destroyed by what you love because you overindulge, another negative side of Venus. And gathering the wrong type of attention and gathering the wrong type of validation because you look and sound too good. You know what I'm saying? Because not every attention, not every money, not every company is good company, money, or attention. You know what I'm saying? Tell me in the comments down below what you think about this video. Drop a like, ask a service for me if you want to know about your Venus and your whole natal chart. And thank you very much for watching once again. Esoteric Cloud Surfer, surfing out. See you soon.